Last Cloudia community. It's collaboration time. Get ready to a new episode of Last Cloudia with a collab with Nier Automata. This is a video game that I've actually never played. I've never played any of the Nier games, but I've heard nothing but great things about it from critics and, of course, just people in general. Now, this is a video game collab, which means that there's a lot of expectations here. These are the kind of collabs that are really, really the best. The music, as you might be able to hear in the background, the scenery, the bosses you have to fight, everything just kind of fits perfectly together whenever they do this kind of collab. So, lots of hype. Super happy about this. So, let's go ahead and get into it. So before we get started, I also want to give you guys a quick reminder that the friends list has been expanded, so you can now have up to 150 friends on your list. So that's really, really awesome. Great quality of life, because when it comes to the things that we can purchase, especially the more rare things that cost a lot, we could definitely use all the friends we can get. So don't forget, you can also add stuff to your friends list. What we're going to do today is we're going to be mainly going over the banner, as we always do, talking about the character you can get and the arc you can get. So we're going to start with talking about 2B, uh, character that I think looks fantastic, like the artwork, like the outfit, all that good stuff. So let's take a look at the stats here. So this is a machine type. Now you're looking at about 6295 on the HP on base. You have like 1306 strength and 1209 defense, which are the main highlights as well. So good stats so far, even a decent mind, which tells you right there this is going to be kind of a crit build unit, because a crit build physical DPS definitely wants as much mind as possible to get those Proud Force procs. Looking at the resistances, basically she's resistant to everything except dark, so that's pretty cool. And then she also gets resistance to poison, and she's nil to blind and stun. So really, really good stuff. The only downside here is that she's weak to both curse and illness, so it'll be hard to heal her unless you give her certain equipment or just have the healer, heal. But that can be mitigated in many ways. Now, one thing to note also about this character is this is a no attribute attacker, so this is basically a neutral DPS character. This is the type of character we definitely like having, because we don't have to deal with resistances. One thing that I will state that does hinder neutral DPS is the fact that you cannot exploit weaknesses. But one of the best things that I've learned about neutral DPS to make up for that is just to make them a crit build, because when you're building them to do crits, that's just the way to kind of make sure you're dealing damage. And of course, all the general stuff like stat boost and weapon boostings, all the usual stuff how you build a DPS character. But just wanted to kind of point that out, that this is definitely a good thing. Like I said, the only weakness to a neutral is the fact that you cannot exploit weaknesses in general. Like I said, it goes both ways. But I like neutral characters. Baron or Baron, however you want to pronounce them, is definitely my favorite of the neutrals. So 100% support this. Looking at the traits, Type B. When two weapons are equipped, boost physical attack damage and damage cap based on hit count. Max damage is 50%, damage cap is 5,000 on a 100 plus hit combo. So I guess the 5,000 is the max at 100 hits. So interesting conditional cap raise, but doing hit combos is not terrible when you got a squad, so nothing to worry about. Now, also it says chance to avoid physical attacks, so that's always decent, just an added bonus. Second trait, support unit, pod 042. So every 20 seconds, if HP is 50% or less, restore HP 20%. Every 30 seconds, remove a basic status element. And if all skill stocks are 0, recover SCT 10 seconds. So interesting, lots of conditional boost here, timing, but it's cool. So like I said, a little bit of bonuses here and there for various reasons, it seems. Taking a look at the passives here, she got Fighting Spirit 4, Resolve up 5, Crit up 2, advanced aim vitals, and proud force. So they actually have a good start on the crit build, which I mentioned earlier is important, especially for neutrals. We also have illusion, machine slayer, auto brave, auto crit, auto haste, awaken, no attribute attack raise 2 with no attribute crit raise, which you also need. Pose of Glory, Blessed Speed, Triple Impact, Dual Wield, Sword Boost, Sword Mega Boost. We love seeing those Mega Boosts. Quick Reload, which is fantastic. This is what I believe Shift Medine has, so really, really good. Combo Master OS chip. Now, this is new. The core operating system of an Android. Unequipping this chip results in instant death. And then it says straight defense, intelligence, and mind plus 5%. So I'm guessing if you go into battle without this on, I'm assuming she just gets KO'd. I'm assuming you can still revive her and then proceed as normal. It doesn't necessarily say once per turn or once per wave, so I'm not exactly sure if you can revive and then be okay, or is she just not usable without the chip? I'd like to believe that it's just a first time KO and you can revive. This might be a character that could be built for a zombie build, if you will, potentially. Let's take a look at the rest of the stuff. So as far as the chips are concerned, plug-in chip attack. This is strength plus 30%, SAT recovery speed plus 20%, mind minus 15%. Ooh, that's kind of bad. All attribute resistance minus 5. The mind minus 15% I don't like, only because if you're trying to build a crit unit and you're losing mind, that means that's less heals you're getting on your proud force, of the amount of heal. It might be okay, I guess, if you build up enough mind, but that's a really not a good minus to have. But I guess if you're adding strength and SET, I guess it's okay. You have plug-in chip defense, so this gives you defense plus 30%, mind plus 30%, strength minus 50%, and intelligence minus 15%. Okay, so this is kind of making up for that loss in mind, but you're losing some stuff. And this is stuff that's automatically on, so I'm guessing this just balances her out as far as her stats are concerned, is what it looks like. And then you have plug-in chip in intellect. M plus 30%, crit rate plus 10%, defense minus 15%, and HP minus 15%. Really interesting. I'm not going to do the math to see how it all plugs in, but really interesting how they kind of add and subtract different stats based on these plugins. Because I assume you want to plug in all three, or if you're doing something very specific, maybe you'll keep certain ones off. So basically, this is kind of a way to kind of build her in specific ways, depending on what you're going for. So if you don't want to like lose out on the mind, you might not use the plug-in chip or so, or the attack chip. Hard to say. Who knows? Enhancement perfect evade. When evading a physical attack, recover 2 seconds of SET for a skill and apply a skill damage plus 50% buff to the next skill used. Really interesting. So this character wants to be evading to get certain abilities, which is why I believe she has, where is it? Illusion, right? I thought I saw, there it is. Yeah, so she has illusion, which helps. And I'm not sure if I read a trait or something that gave her evasion, but having illusion really helps to help make this proc, so good on them. Reliquary system, when revived, apply a strength, defense, intelligence, and mind plus 30% buff to a unit. This kind of brings to light my whole zombie build idea that I mentioned earlier, if you're going to go that route. Or this just happens naturally when, she gets KO'd to a boss insta-kill or something, and you, revive her, she gets the ability. So it works either way, however you want to do it. You have equipment, heavy armor. Continuous protection and vitality effects. No attribute attack damage cap 2,000. So having a more damage cap is definitely a good thing. Nothing wrong with that. And getting some boost. So, yeah. Overall, I like the unit. I think she's interesting. Really interesting skills. I think that, her traits are alright. You know what I mean? Like I said, all around a good character. And, yeah, I see nothing that would say don't pull for it. You know what I mean? Like I said, she's a neutral. If you don't have any good neutrals, this is definitely not a bad option. She's up there with one of the best. And she almost reminds me of Balin in a sense, with the exception that she dual wields. But with Balin, I think he also has something that has to do with the evading. I might be a little bit wrong on that. There's another character that, can get good stuff off of evading, but I might be talking about the wrong character. But, getting different, procs off of being able to evade is pretty good. Like I said, you want to build her as a crit wise, but yeah, a good unit. I definitely give my thumbs up to her. All right, and the next thing we got is the arc that you can get, the LR, a beautiful songstress. So we're looking at attributes when attacking an enemy inflicted with a debuff, damage plus 5% per debuff on the enemy, max of 40%. When defeating an enemy, apply a strength and intelligence plus 30% buff to the unit. Battlestar auto cast Giga Blazer. Oh wow! So I think Giga Blazer it does like a minus to a certain stat, but I forgot what it is. Or is that an increase? I can't remember if that's a debuff or not. I don't really remember. I think that's a debuff. Yeah, that's a debuff for the entire team for this Giga. So yeah, it's doing a debuff. I just don't remember if Blazer is strength, but I might be a little bit wrong on that. And then looking at the skills that can be learned, we have weak, which weak is great. That's how basically you can deal more damage to the enemy. You have silence research, which is all right. Steel intent. This is a new one. When on the ground, physical damage taken minus 10%. So if you're just trying to tank up a little bit with someone that's hard to lift up, there are some characters that might like that. Two-handed machine. Now, I'm all about the two-handed weapons, so I'm cool with this. When only one weapon equipped is a machine, physical attack damage plus 20%, crit rate plus 10%, and a physical attack damage cap of 5,000. Which remember, all of the cap rates are 5,000 for two-handed weapons now, so pretty cool. We have stained decorations. Chance to inflict blazer, drain, lostoma, and or drain effects on all enemies. So wait a minute, is it drain twice? Because I just read it. Yeah, it says inflict, blazer, drain, lostoma, and or drain. So I think they're talking about, instead of a drain being there twice, I think it's supposed to refer to the other debuff that's associated with all of this. But either way, pretty cool ability, or spell I should say. I would definitely be using this because I'm all about, debuffing and stuff like that. So I could see, putting this on Tinkili, for example. I think she would absolutely love this. So yeah, I like it a lot actually. 11 SC sounds like a lot, but keep in mind that you can potentially do all of them. It says and or, which means there's a small chance that you can do multiples potentially, which is really, really strong. So yeah, I think that Tinkili will love this because not only will her debuffs basically last longer, but she also has the passive to where any kind of debuff that she does, she gets a boost to her stats based off of how it was lowered. So if you basically do all four to all enemies, that means that she's getting all of that boosted. That's actually super strong for her now that I think about it. So I would like to have that if I randomly were able to pull the arc. We're not going to go into that. And then the last one is Song of Destruction, 9 SC. Battle start inflicted enemy with a debuff Song of Destruction, which regularly deals damage to nearby allies. So basically, you put this on an enemy, and any other enemy that's around that person you cast it on will be taking damage. Now, how much and how often? Don't know. But that's the thing. Seems okay. I don't know if I'd ever use it. Like I said, the thing that really gives me the most hype is stained decorations. I think that's probably the best thing in this particular arc. I love that. And again, this is coming from someone that prefers mages that can debuff. So yeah, I'm all about this. So if I ever somehow randomly luckily pull this arc, I will 100% be putting that on Tinkili. You best believe it. Looking at the actual Ether reward, it's the Machine Axe. So this axe is no attribute. HP plus 250, strength plus 233, and defense minus 12. Damage to enemies fainted or in break plus 20%. When defeating an enemy, strength plus 2%, up to 10 times max. Resets when unit is incapacitated. Now, there are certain characters that have similar abilities where, every time they, defeat someone, they get like a boost. I think BB Shin has that. I might be wrong, but I think BB Shin does that too. I never use them, so it's hard to say. But I think this is a decent one. I mean, like I said, it has a decent strength stat, and you're getting buffs every time you defeat a unit up to 10 times. Not bad. And if you like breakers, you're getting boosted damage. Typically, when it comes to adding damages to breakers, it doesn't really appeal to me anymore now that bosses have HP thresholds. So if you're breaking a boss and they already hit that threshold where they're not taking any more damage, it feels like this would be useless. I mean, unless that is affecting how long the HP, I guess, holds. Like if it actually makes a difference where maybe the HP threshold won't last as long, that might be good. Because I think that's the only problem with break nowadays is the HP threshold makes breaking just useless. But if breaking is a way to sort of get around it or maybe speed up the process of getting rid of the HP threshold, then this would be much better. But either way, I still think this is a good weapon. I think it's pretty cool. I like it. So overall, I like the arc. I actually think that the arc attribute itself is pretty cool. I actually like the skills you can learn. Like I said, the two-handed machine and stained decorations are basically the two I like the most. Weak is also really good too. I absolutely like weak. I do use it on some of the characters, even the ones that don't, typically cast spells. I use it on. Like I think I gave it to Roy, for example, just to make sure he's getting that nice meaty damage. So like I said, this is actually a really good arc for every reason. Good attributes, good skills, and I think the actual reward is decent. So obviously this is a collab one, so you would expect it to be good. So yeah, I'm happy with what I see. And now we go to the paid gear. So we're going to start with the Virtuous Treaty for 2B. Now, this is a sword with no attribute, as you would expect. Strength 181, defense plus 30. Crit rate plus 5%. Extra attacks to 1.5 times damage. When HP is 70% or higher, straight plus 20%. So this is pretty good. And again, this kind of fits the whole crit build with Proud Force. So if you're able to keep your HP high enough, you're always going to get that added damage, which is really, really strong. And of course, if you're doing anything that would add like extra damage, for example, using Icy Guardian, or if you're doing like any kind of impact, which I don't really recommend because apparently it only works on regular attacks, but you know, it's still, pretty good, specifically for the crit rate and the straight boost for being at a high enough HP. So I think this is a really good sword for her for 2B. Really, really good. Now we have the Pod 042. This is an accessory that gives you 59 strength, 24 defense added, physical attack damage cap 1000. When unit recovers from a basic status ailment, recover HP plus 10%, continuous magic barrier effect, and it gives you a resistance to both curse and illness. Now, if I'm not mistaken, she's weak to both of those, so this basically kind of helps make up for some of her weaknesses in a way. So this is not bad either. I actually think this is a pretty good accessory. Like I said, you're getting a strength buff, you're getting damage cap, and you're getting two resistances to the things that she really needs a resistance to the most here. So pretty good. Now, if you're going to be on a budget and you'd say, hey, I'm going to just get one of these items, I would still go for the Virtuous Treaty. It's just too hard to say, why lose out on crit percentage and potential more damage? Now, you could argue that the damage cap on the accessory is more of a big deal. It just depends on how easy it is for you to get cap. Do you have the necessary boost to get her at cap? And if you don't, this is the better particular item. But if you can crit pretty easily, or I'm sorry, not crit, if you can cap pretty easily, then you may want to go for the accessory. That's just depending on what resources you have. If you're trying to be like a budget player, as you can tell, I don't have enough credits. I'm actually not going to be investing too much into the banners. I'm more here for the events. I just did the first wave of the step up, and I'm going to leave it at that and just use tickets. I've learned that my luck with arcs is terrible, and I'm not particularly going for the characters since I have enough of them. And like I mentioned earlier, as far as the event goes, right now we're in the beginning of it. So right now you're just seeing, the cutscene they have in the beginning is really, really cool. When you're pulling, I guess it is a 9S. So getting, like, the cutscene was really, really cool. The fact that you have the music even on this screen here, the home screen, is pretty good. I like that. One thing that I did forget to mention in my last video about the second anniversary, those new stages actually have pretty cool music too. So I forgot to give a shout out to the music. Good job, devs. But here for the collab, right now we're just kind of chilling, doing your regular stuff. But the next couple of weeks coming up are going to be really, really super strong. You do have a particular battle where you get to assign 3 different teams, which is an important thing to learn how to do because in my next video I am going to be talking about a specific arc I unlocked recently called Voss, because you do have to do particular battles just like that where you have to set up 3 teams to get this, but that'll be in the next video, so we're not going to talk about that today. So they're going to be ranking based off of doing a 3-party battle system. And then you're also going to be doing some fishing, which I actually like doing the fishing in this game. Believe it or not, I do it a lot more than I tell people because I know a lot of people don't care about it. But for me, I think the fishing in this game is nice, peaceful, and you can get some stuff off of it. So, nothing bad to say about that there. But I guess it's going to go ahead and conclude this. Overall, it's been a good collab so far. Good update as far as, some good quality of life stuff that I've been seeing here and there. Just check the notices to see all the updates. But until next time, keep gaming. Take care, everyone. Later.